I'm Joe Gurba. I do a lot of things. I put out 5 records as the Joe. I've put out a book of poetry with Small Ghosts of Calgary. And I'm supposed to kill more time here. I started a new venue with Transcend recently. It's only been open 2 months. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. It's called the Elevation Room. It's in the basement of the downtown. Transcend. Edmonton really needs more venues, so if any of you, I'm sure lots of you are business owners and you want to make your place into a venue, you really should. The artists could really use it. I also do all the media for Wunderbar, and I run a record label called Old Ugly Recording Company. I've put on a lot of festivals. Most recently, I did that Tip of the Iceberg one in the tent complex in Churchill Square, and I also did a traveling music festival with a dozen Alberta bands that went from city to city to city called Swig of Alberta. And I'm actually going to go put on a festival right after I play this show at Wunderbar. So if any of you want to come see every single artist off my record label, I fully invite you to. It's called Old Ugly Denim Fest, so Canadian tuxedos are encouraged. I'm actually going to shave this mustache tomorrow. I grew it just to look sleazy tonight. Before I start, I showed up to find out that I have dancers, so could you please give a... I've never had dancers, ever. Can you give a wild round of applause for Tatiana, Melissa, Ileana, Tim, and Catherine from Vic? All right, I'm going to play 3 songs. The first 2 are commentaries. The first one is pretty straightforward commentary with a narrative. The second one is satirical. And then I'll speak a little more on the third track before I play it and talk about art a little bit. Go ahead. You're cool. When you were 14, you hate your dad. When you were 15, you took a lot of photographs. They were Polaroids and your parents were so annoyed and just wish inside their heart that you would go and get employed. When you were 16, you thought you liked to skateboard. When you were 17, you thought that you should skate more. When you were 18, you think you'd never skate again, and it was high time you found a hobby you felt safer in. It was a pain, of course, but just so you were over it. High school was cool and all, but it's done, get over it. You scoffed at all your friends who went to get real jobs, contemplating how to get your dumb friends to peel off. After thinking hard about all became apparent that being cool would come by hunting out the esoteric. And you were itching for stuffy pedantic arguments and thought about trading in your hoodie for a cardigan. So you did, off to college for an arts degree. You thought CJSR was chic and volunteered heartily. And it was like Eureka when you finally seen the multitude of cool people saying music is a part of me. Every day you went to Megatunes and Blackbird till you heard the library is free of use and faster. You liked lo-fi and Icelandic shoegaze. You finally got your very own night show on Tuesdays. You went to lots of shows and you were sort of well-known, putting every local celebrity in your cell phone. You started working at American Apparel, giving condescending looks to every single kid who dared go. Because we all know you need to dress decently unless you're a big deal inside the local theater scene. That was around when you found out about the Metro and seeing real cinema was too cool to let go. Monday night you went to Princess or Garneau unless you caught wind of some loft party or art show. The French films became your absolute favorite, and someone told you that they're similar to novels. Whoa! That was your big awakening to literature, and you felt as if your whole life before was immature. Books, 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 that's all you really cared for. That was when you always started thinking of the airport. You started saying, all we have is Leonard Cohen, but such a Margaret Atwood poems, Canada's a no one. You liked the Frenchies and of course the expatriates, and similar to Sartre, you were an existential atheist. You called God the G-word, but you liked holy water, but as for any piety, you said, why bother? You were more for the reckless life of dead authors. All this plus your sociology minor made you postmodern. And the funny part was that you didn't know what happened, but all of a sudden you wanted to leave it in Kerouac fashion. You lust for that sentimental irresponsibility, thinking any sort of staying still is a futility. Ironically, you were all for Marx and Engels, admitting cynically that you would probably vote for Hillary. But you're Canadian, even though you hate it here, so you voted green, hugged a tree, and kept on changing your degree. It occurred to you that thin people look depraved and interesting, and because of that, they're treated different. You also noticed most of the fatty food you crave is made of meat and dairy, so you were all in for veganism. You didn't say it was that you could look deathly ill, but because animals are people too, why should they be treated different? That's the only self-denial university, and still in a postmodern way you give yourself over to hedonism. Cause who believes in real love anyway? That whole two people forever thing it up and die with Hemingway. It's so idealistic, it's so Jane Austen. It's too difficult to find and too easy to get lost in. You found a mirror to love inside of every set of eyes, and the sadder ones had always had you hypnotized. You took them to your dorm, so it became the norm. But soon every morn felt bitterly forlorn. Your lovers left, And you weren't even sore at him because sex had grown boring and you rarely even orgasmed. You just wanted to touch base with yourself. You felt you built this house without a door to get back out. All despondent with a bottle of sardonic and lethargic and almost suicidal. You fall asleep with cigarettes on the sheet, nearly dying every night as if it were some recital. Cause it's always been cool to have everyone calling you. Concerned you're gonna kill yourself if they aren't calling you. The only thing holding you back from killing yourself is years of Sunday school and a childish fear of hell. You missed your childhood, but you known who you were when life wasn't this contest to which you had adjourned. You bust home for Christmas with your ghost beside you when your parents and your siblings barely recognized you. You saw your mother's eyes and your spirit stirred. You saw you weren't free as you had believed. All along, hell was where you were, not somewhere that you were going to be. I didn't really see what you guys are doing, but I'm sure it was great. There's a lot of focus behind me. Go ahead, Sam. This is called apathy. This is a compulsion now. Seriously, it feels great. I don't know what I'm going to do after it's gone. You look stupid when you wear pink, catching meningitis when you share drinks, catching hepatitis A, B, and C. Diseases, contagious, putting long faces in the wrong places. I'm making hits today with more stage presence in the Christmas play. History, it's okay, I got the whole world in a fist of clay, but what to do, the whole earth is just dust and goo. It could use a whole bunch of glue. Environmental issue, shall I continue, but I don't care. Apathy, ever South American catastrophe, you're serious dude, I just don't care. I prefer the austere TV room. AIDS, homeless people, don't go there. Who's dead? Check Nietzsche's tomb while I peel a couple more ozone layers. Yeah, real postmodern like a new mailbox. Postmodern on my Bush is stupid, right? Dole is stupid, right? What? Global warming, is that also stupid? I don't know. Homeostasis is stupid, but birds singing songs, that's not stupid, right? Stupid people, they don't like good books, they like tabloids, and I do too. My IQ's huge, analyze me. I wrote this song in the very feisty 10-minute minutes while sipping iced tea. My very skinny image lies in the face. I'm a double Big Mac that I'd like to wash down with a couple Kit Kats. I hate you, cause you're not me. You're different, and I prefer the copy. Itty bitty kitty cats, come on little kitty laugh. Copycats are stupid, just like music that's not top 40.
What's up, shorty? Come dance for me. I rap poorly, and like put 40s poured out for me.
Buy my homeboys and bling the rings like a telephone noise. I buy my baby mama, baby's little chrome toys and teach him how to keep the gun poised. A well-armed populace, no stupid picky 5-0 stopping us. Picket signs are innocuous, but guns work. Ain't it obvious? Guns! Everyone should have one, just like a maid. Everyone should have one, just like a slave. Everyone should have one, unless you're a maid or a slave, you can't have one. When I'm bored, I start wars. I like to use the atlas as a dartboard. See, I'm not a villain, I'm more like Bob Dylan. A rap song is never gonna stop killing. I mean, stop the killing, I mean both of those who remember Dresden or Kosovo. I don't, I'm lounging, I'm popping some pills. I'm mixing Mountain Dew and Red Bull and watching the hills. You see, I can't find the flicker when I'm getting couch sores. Why would I really wanna leave the house for? I'm a tender handsome devil in our temper tantrum temples on the string, but who's your pedal more than us in phantom candles? Plucking all our pedals, all the coolitistic metal and jet pedal, chincha temple, so we run and never settle. Yup, that's where the exit starts. I put a big fist up for the domestic part, cause that's love for a dyslexic heart, the kind that disappears like electric cars. And where'd those go? Good question. Where's the rest of Nikola Tesla's inventions? Word up. You've got conspiracy theories, well keep them to yourself. The Joey is weary. You've got leprosy, well then don't come near me. I got a message and I refuse to hear it clearly. I'm just way too overly stimulated. I watch MTV and I imitate it. I would say our enemies are vindicated, but who cares? Let's bomb them to hell. I said peace. I use homonyms well. Victory. I use homonyms well. I'm trying to pretend like I care a lot, like the war on terror is a paradox. But really I don't care, I'm really complacent. I pay it no mind like my education. Feed me something good or I'll throw a fit again. No, I'm begging you, no more Ritalin. Gulp, gulp, Thanks, I guess. These funny little pills taste like methanol. Strung out with a vengeance. You can stunt my growth and block the entrance. Okay, there, you've got my attention. Let's call that redemption. No thanks, cause the Joey is tired. No one gave the Joey the information required to get the Joey up off the couch and out the house, so the Joey is out. Peace. Apathy. Can someone get me water? Not you guys, you're good. Sam, everyone, thank you. Thank you, Sam. Okay, so let's speak briefly about art. Everything I do, I try and do in a community way, which I think everyone here relates to, because this is the moneyed left, they call them, I think. Nothing wrong with that. I've got a record label that tries to focus on people instead of albums. We sign artists instead of albums, which is an old format. No one does that anymore. People sign albums now because you don't want to take a risk on an artist. You might put out a bad album. We focus on live events, doing strange live events, especially live events that break down the barriers between the audience and the artists. So what's my favorite one we do is called Folk Fire. We have we go down to the banks of the river right across from the Rossdale thing they tore down on the other side, on the south side. We find wood, we make a fire, and then we play folk songs unplugged. And I think that's sort of the guiding light behind my label. There's money sides to doing business, which is obvious. But if anyone here is involved in the arts, I strongly encourage you to always make sure that's tertiary to, well, first, tertiary to the art, and the art should be secondary to the people, I think. Because people make art. And art ultimately, I guess I have a microphone. I have a milk crate to stand on for a second. So I'm sure most of you already relate to this. But cutting funding for the arts is a really bad idea. It's like the only thing that makes being alive worth being alive. And I realize that it's completely, unimportant if people can't get all their Maslow's index of needs covered to the point where they can do the arts. But it sucks that it comes last. And we honestly couldn't operate without grant money and support from people. So don't vote for governments that want to slash the only thing that makes living here worth it when it's so freaking cold, okay? My next song is it's the first song I have a project coming out called Help in August. It's sort of a tribute to my uncle, who's a schizophrenic, who's no longer with us, and it's a schizophrenic philosopher who's dying. And so it's almost in the sense that literature was written, pre-18th century. You would usually give your antagonist all the brightest ideas, because if you wrote him as the protagonist, you'd be burned or something, right? And so I have this really sort of anti-hero who's saying a lot of, well, just what logically follows from a materialist, nihilistic philosophy, which it has a lot of ground objectively. So anyway, that project's coming out very soon. And this song was written 2 years ago, and it probably was the first song for that project. So this project also incorporates what I call new myths, basically. Not that everything isn't a myth, but this myth is called The Idols They'll Make, and it's just about arts and idolatry, mostly. And that's not really left us at all, so I'm trying to update our idolatry myths. Go ahead.
To be alone. To be alone.
They made a statue out of me. They're surrounding me with scaffolding, telling me to hold still, when in actuality, that's impossible. I have to breathe. I'm starting to get cold chills. I see them melting precious metals, stirring in some flower petals, smelting out the dross. They've hired shrinks to help me settle down while the kettle sounds. Try to think of God, and now the cauldron's hoisted over me. I've not been given anesthetic, I don't know if I can take the heat. I clench my teeth and groan and wheeze, my face inflicted with the look of pain and duty. Eternally, and now I see they've chosen copper bronze. I understand why, 'cause it will turn green eventually. Now the masses take the massive tongs. They pluck me up, colossus that I am, from the ground with these, and they dip me in the Black Sea. I feel the salt cauterize my eyes, and now it's hard to see properly. The water seems to attack me. I hum a tune I'd written long ago to help me cope with such defeat. Set me in the town square. I feel the sun glare intensely on my copper solid carapace, and I can hear the crowd there squirming at my feet, marveling at me, hurling their imperatives. I smell the food lift at my feet, entire cattle roasted, wheat and wine, and corn and rice. And though I hunger like a beast, I can't move or bend a knee to eat their sacrifice. And now I hear their twisted voice calling out all at once, help us know ourselves, help us know ourselves. It escalates to such a noise that I can't tell the words apart. I'm stuck in bronze, how am I supposed to help? And now they start to sing, and it's startling. It's a song that I myself had written once, but last time I sang it, I was gargling. They must have heard it from this herd of sheep. The incantation comes. It isn't long before the food starts to rot. I can smell it from on high. The putrid fumes are pungent. The masses start to whine a lot. The sacrifices change from beef and grouse to leeks and onions. After weeks and months and years, the faithful disappear. Their prayers and hopes are unfulfilled. And I stand alone on high and hear the town go about their lives, and I am alive upon the hill. A couple generations pass, men begin to tear the copper walls from my skin, and they replace the roofs of thatch with the greening tin, and I begin to get some oxygen leaking in. Gas. They pay no heed to me, or they take from me, or they cleave from me, and I remember when they needed me. As my exoskeleton is carried off, a bit by bit released until my eyes can see that I am not their God. I stumble off, I can hear my thoughts. As I walk away, I can sing again. Thank you very much for being so attentive. If you like me, I have CDs at Blackbird and Permanent, and my name is the Joe.bandcamp.com. Check out my record label. It's called Old Ugly, and everyone on it's the best ever that you'll ever hear. Thank you very much.